Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving headfirst into the wonders of New Zealand, a country that's basically synonymous with stunning landscapes thanks to a certain little movie trilogy we all know and love. But New Zealand is so much more than just a pretty backdrop. It's a land of fascinating contrasts and incredible natural diversity. We're talking ancient forests, towering mountains, sparkling glaciers and bubbling volcanoes, all packed onto two main islands. So, buckle up because we're about to uncover some surprising facts about this island nation that might just make you want to book a flight, or, at least add it to your ever-growing travel bucket list. Let's get to it. Okay, so you know how we always talk about how maps never really show you the full picture? Well, New Zealand takes that to a whole new level. Yeah, you've got your North Island and your South Island, those are the big players. But hold on to your hats, because scattered around those two are over 600, yes, you heard that right, 600 smaller islands. Makes you wonder how anyone ever decided which ones to put on the postcards, right? Now, if you've ever seen a picture of New Zealand, and let's be real, who hasn't? You've probably seen the Southern Alps. They're kind of hard to miss. This majestic mountain range runs down the spine of the South Island, and it's home to some seriously impressive peaks. The tallest of them all? That would be Aoraki Mount Cook, clocking in at a breathtaking 3,724 meters. That's over 12,000 feet for all you non-metric folks. No wonder Peter Jackson decided to film those epic mountain scenes for the Lord of the Rings here. Speaking of epic landscapes, New Zealand's dramatic scenery isn't just a coincidence. See, the country sits smack dab on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which, in case you haven't brushed up on your geology lately, means it's prone to earthquakes and volcanic activity. And boy, does New Zealand have volcanoes. The North Island is especially active, with Mount Ruapehu and Mount Tongariro frequently putting on a show. Then there's Rotorua, famous for its geysers and hot springs, a steaming reminder that beneath all that beauty, there's some serious geothermal power going on. Chapter 4. Kiwis and Dolphins and Parrots. Oh my! Now, let's talk about the animals, because New Zealand is like a giant, naturally occurring wildlife sanctuary. Millions of years of isolation have created some of the most unique flora and fauna on the planet. Of course, there's the kiwi, the adorable, flightless national bird that's about as close to a living dinosaur as you can get. But don't forget the Hector's dolphin, the world's smallest and possibly cutest dolphin species. And then there's the kia, the world's only alpine parrot, known for its intelligence and, let's be honest, its mischievous streak. Chapter 5. Giants of the Past. Remembering the moa. Sadly, not all of New Zealand's incredible creatures have survived to modern times. Take the moa, for example. Imagine an ostrich, but bigger, like way bigger. We're talking up to 3.6 meters tall, that's almost 12 feet. These gentle giants roamed New Zealand for millions of years. Until humans arrived on the scene, that is. Sadly, the moa were hunted to extinction by early Maori settlers around 600 years ago. It's a stark reminder that even in the most isolated corners of the world, human impact can have devastating consequences. Chapter 6. The Unintended Consequences of Introduction. And speaking of human impact, let's talk about introduced species. Because as we all know, sometimes humans try to fix things and end up making them worse. That's what happened when European settlers arrived in New Zealand and with the best of intentions brought along some furry friends. Unfortunately, those furry friends, namely rats, stoats, and possums, turned out to be a nightmare for New Zealand's native wildlife. See, these introduced predators had no natural enemies in New Zealand, so their populations exploded and they wreaked havoc on native birds and plants. It's an ongoing battle, but conservationists are working hard to control these invasive species and protect New Zealand's incredible biodiversity. Now let's rewind a bit and talk about the people who called New Zealand home long before Europeans arrived. The Maori, skilled navigators and explorers, arrived in New Zealand from eastern Polynesia around 1,000 years ago. Their culture is deeply intertwined with the land, with a strong emphasis on storytelling, art, and spirituality. And their language, Te Reo Maori, is experiencing a revival, thanks to dedicated efforts to preserve and celebrate this unique cultural heritage. But the arrival of Europeans, as we know, changed everything. In 1840, the British Crown and Maori chiefs signed the Treaty of Waitangi. It was intended to be a peaceful agreement, with Maori recognizing British sovereignty in exchange for the protection of their land and rights. However, things didn't exactly go as planned. Disagreements over the interpretation of the treaty led to conflict, and the legacy of colonization continues to have a profound impact on Maori today. It's a complex and often difficult history, but it's essential to understanding modern-day New Zealand. Now, at the heart of Maori culture is the marae, a communal or sacred space that serves as a focal point for community gatherings, ceremonies, and celebrations. But the marae is more than just a physical building. It's a living embodiment of Maori traditions and values representing connection, ancestry, and respect. Okay, let's get back to nature for a bit, because New Zealand is home to some seriously impressive trees. And when I say impressive, I mean ancient towering giants that make you feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. I'm talking about the kauri tree, of course. These majestic trees can live for thousands of years, that's right, thousands, and grow to over 50 meters tall. Imagine the stories they could tell if only they could talk. But the kauri isn't the only plant superstar in New Zealand. This country is bursting with unique flora, each more fascinating than the last. Take the pohutukawa tree, for example, with its vibrant red flowers that bloom just in time for Christmas. Well, the Southern Hemisphere's Christmas anyway. And then there's the silver fern, an iconic symbol of New Zealand that's as recognizable as the Kiwi bird. Okay, time for a history lesson. But don't worry, this isn't your boring high school textbook stuff. We're going back to the 17th century, when European explorers were busy charting the globe and occasionally bumping into new continents by accident. Enter Dutch explorer Abel Tasman, who in 1642 became the first European to lay eyes on New Zealand. Well, technically he saw it from a distance. A bit of a miscommunication with the local Maori meant he didn't actually set foot on land. And that, my friends, is just a tiny taste of what makes New Zealand so incredible. From its dramatic landscapes and unique wildlife to its rich Maori culture and fascinating history, this country is a treasure trove of surprises. It's a place where adventure awaits around every corner, whether you're hiking through ancient forests, kayaking in sparkling fjords, or simply soaking up the breathtaking scenery. Trust me, once you go to New Zealand, you'll understand why it's captured the hearts and imaginations of so many. So what are you waiting for? Add New Zealand to your travel bucket list. You won't regret it. And hey, if you're already dreaming of your Kiwi adventure, hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating facts about our amazing planet. Thanks for joining us on this journey through New Zealand's hidden gems. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating facts from around the world.